seem all that scared.
Of course I am.
You don't act like it.
What do you want me to do, scream? Wouldn't help much anyway. No, I'm just gonna sit here, take it easy, and wait for you to screw up.
Not like my ex-wife.
You were married?
Just for about a year, give or take a few days. It's not like we didn't get along, we had fun, we just didn't have that thing, you know, that, spark, you know, gotta have that.
Mm-hmm.
We still talk, though.
Sure. This is not gonna end well. These things never do.
Turns out I get shot like a dog. It's gonna be in the street, not off a goddamn fence.
You must really see yourself as some kind of Clyde Barrow, huh?
You mean a Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah.
Yeah. The part in the movie where they get shot when it's Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. Yeah, I like her in that movie about TV.
Network. Yeah, she was good.
Yeah. And that guy says he's not gonna take any more shit from anybody.
Peter Finch.
Yeah, Peter Finch. Not gonna take any, mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take him with your shit. Anyway, that part where they get shot, I remember thinking to myself, that wouldn't be such a bad way to go if you had to. You sure are easy to talk to. I was thinking, if we met under different circumstances. You're at a bar, and I came up, we started talking. I wonder what would happen.
Nothing.
If you didn't know who I was.
You'd probably tell me.
I say if we met under different circumstances.
You have got to be kidding.
Another movie I liked with Faye Dunaway was 3 Days of the Condor.
One with Robert Redford when he was young.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought it made sense, though. You know, the way they got together so quick. I mean, romantically.
Hello and welcome to the Super 70 Podcast, episode 38.10, the Redfordcast. What else can you say but that the man was great? He was great with Jane Fonda. He was great with Faye Dunaway. He was great with Debra and Demi. He was even great with guys like Sidney Poitier and, of course, his long friendship with Paul Newman. Dave bowed out this time, but Luke showed up to do a back-to-back recording, and this is our tribute to a great actor whom we will miss on the silver screen. So how's it feel to know that you're the backup?
For Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I don't mind.
That's good. You might see Dave Anderson on a future episode of the Super 70 Podcast. Okay, the Redfordcast.
Yes.
Because I was somewhat surprised when you don't hear any news about people being sick or whatever. I was kind of taken aback at Redford passing away.
Yeah.
Kind of ended that horrible week where everything was going wrong. And then I did look up and read that review of what happened in Nepal.
Yeah, that's insane.
That was actually crazy. And then of course Redford passed away, I think, on like the following Monday or Tuesday. So it was pretty crazy. So I was going through a lot of his stuff, and a lot of his stuff that I wasn't aware of. Just his early career in the 50s. No one really was looking at this when they were talking about his big hits, the 3 Days of the Condor, Ordinary People. He wins Best Director, Best Picture. Nobody was really talking about how his career really mirrored
Rick Dawson. I mean, severely. Like, if you look at his career in the 50s, he does a lot of Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of single Westerns. Worked on Maverick. And then he would do one episode of Gunsmoke. Then he'd do one episode of something like Branded. He did some Route 66, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Twilight Zones. He was in The Untouchables with Robert Stack. He was in The Virginians. His first real film role, and I just saw this last year, was called The Chase.
Yeah.
In which he played a con man who got out of prison and was going to his home. And the local sheriff was Marlon Brando, who was trying to track him down effectively for his own safety because the town had risen up.
Yeah.
And was saw Redford as such a threat that they decided to overthrow the sheriff in order to get to Redford.
That sounds like a pretty interesting movie.
It was pretty crazy, actually. And it kind of reminded me of an Eastwood movie that Clint Eastwood did in the early 90s with Kevin Costner called A Perfect World.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Where Kevin Costner was in Huntsville. And this took place, I think, during the same weekend that Kennedy died in Dallas. And so Costner was in Huntsville. He broke out. He was traveling across the state, and he took a child hostage. Only the child doesn't know that he's a hostage. He thinks he's going on a joyride.
Oh, yeah, of course.
With, Uncle Kevin or whatever. And Eastwood is the Texas Ranger who's trying to track him down. So
is this before or after The Unforgiven?
I think it's after. It's after he gets the Oscar, yeah. Okay. Where Clint's always had a blank check. But, after The Unforgiven.
But after that movie, he just... Yeah. The next 10 years has just kind of done whatever he wants.
Yeah, pretty much. He's still doing it now.
That's
so
true.
Anyway, that was The Chase. And then he didn't work for 2 years. And he did a movie with Jane Fonda, which was called Barefoot in the Park, and that was a cash cow. They made that for very little money, and it made a whole lot of money. And Jane Fonda at the time, she had this career where she was kind of like this sex kitten bunny type person. Well,
that's Jane Fonda, though. I mean, it
was before she, when she became Hanoi Jane. And she was still in this Hollywood role of, Henry Fonda's daughter, and look at all the great things. She's going to be a great actress one day. It was before the world turned on her, And it was the height of not only, I think, people look at Barbarella as Fonda's like apex mountain of her, early beauty days, but I think it's Barefoot in the Park. And if you look at Redford in that movie, total Cliff Booth standing on the roof with his shirt off hunk.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute. Yeah.
Right.
Riz, as I think you guys call it today.
Oh, my God, don't.
Yeah. But the big one that I remember seeing, probably the first or the second film I had seen Redford in as a kid, of course, was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yes.
And I saw that on TV just like everybody else saw it on TV on Sunday afternoon on network.
For the next 30 years?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And yeah, when it was on cable, my God. And I showed it to you. I don't know how old you were, 15, 16?
Yeah. Whenever you talk about Robert Redford, it's always like the same 3 movies that are always brought up. And Butch Cassidy is one of them for a good reason. I mean, that's like one of the best Westerns ever made, I think. Talk about a dynamic duo right there. Redford and Newman? Like, come on. That's like one of the best, like, duos in film, like, ever.
Yeah, like Laurel and Hardy. Well, I mean, that's more of a comedy side of things, but Laurel and Hardy made, I don't know how many movies together. They were on stage before that, but, that's sort of
I think of, like, I mean, I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying, like, if I think of, like, duos in movies, I'm thinking about, if specifically actors, then I'm thinking about, Clooney and Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
Or more recently, DiCaprio and Pitt. But, back then it was like Robert Redford and Newman.
Yeah.
Those guys, like, they knew how to make movies. And I know you really don't like The Sting, but I think it's like one of his best.
So do you want to tell the audience
about Sting?
About the gag gift?
Oh, the gag gift? Okay. So I think it was like, this was like what? 4 or 5 years ago or something. When I first saw The Sting, you were like, yeah, you should watch this movie. and you weren't exactly enthusiastic about it, having to watch it again. But I remember I was just like, I was having a great time with it. I was like, this is like a really fun movie. This is really entertaining. And then by that year's Christmas, you gave me like a present, and it was The Sting on DVD. I was like, oh shit, this is actually kind of fire. And the case was cool. I was like, oh wow, thank you. And then I watched it again. And then the following year, you gave me a suspiciously shaped DVD wrapped, and I opened it. I was like, "Oh, The Sting. Okay, okay, word. You did give me this for last year. It's pretty funny, but I mean, I guess I got 2 copies of The Sting now.
But I feigned stupidity.
Yeah, you feigned stupidity on that one, and then the following year, you got me it again, and then it's become like a running gag. I just get a copy of The Sting every Christmas, so I got like 4 or 5 copies of that movie upstairs right now.
And by the way, it's the same edition.
Yo, it's the exact same edition. There's no. This isn't like 5 different copies. This isn't like Blade Runner or like Apocalypse Now or something. No, it's like the same fucking copy. No added scenes, no deleted, no supplements, just the same copy. So that's just like pretty funny to me.
Why is Butch and Sundance so popular, do you think? Why is it so resonant in the mind of the audience?
I can't tell you that because I didn't grow up in the 60s or 70s or 80s. So I don't know anyone who's seen that movie. So like,
in your generation.
Yeah, I haven't talked to anyone that has seen that movie, so I really can't say. But I just can say it's like a really good movie. I think it's like a it's almost, like a hang-up movie adjacent. Like you're kind of just like watching and you're hanging out with Redford and Newman the whole movie, but you're going through their adventures or whatever. So I think there's something there. But I have no idea. Like, what do you think?
Well, I think one of the fascinating aspects of going through these situations with you is because you're a part of a different generation. You don't have any of that cultural baggage.
Oh, the Western baggage?
Well, any cultural baggage. Like, I just watched a documentary about Powell and Pressburger, who did a lot of Technicolor films. And in the 40s and 50s were enormously popular. Probably their most popular film is probably The Red Shoes. And my favorite of theirs is Black Narcissus. But they did a film that was heavily panned at the time in 1950, 1951. And Scorsese saw it in black and white on TV when he was growing up in it as a kid. He was like, this movie is fantastic. Because he didn't have the cultural baggage of everyone thinking that the film was a bomb. And I know that to be the case with a lot of movies with you where I'm like, okay, well, I hope this plays. Like I remember seeing Jackie Brown in the theater and being somewhat disappointed. And Dave being kind of disappointed too.
I can see that.
And then over the next, but I mean, how the fuck are you going to follow Pulp Fiction? Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Over the next 15, 20 years, but Dave and I both kind of, it's not as bad as people think it to be. And then now you've got people thinking, oh, that might be just under or equivalent.
I think Jackie Brown's absolutely a fantastic movie. I think it's in his top 5. I don't think it's on par nearly with Pulp Fiction, but I do think it's completely something else that I really enjoy. I mean, that's a whole other podcast. It's just like best Tarantino movies.
But you don't carry that baggage at the time. Like,
no, so I saw chronological. No, we saw. Okay, so we saw. You showed me the movies in reverse order. So my first one was Hateful Eight. Yeah. And then it was Django. And I think Django's his best movie.
Okay.
So just to get that out there. And then it was Inglourious, and then it was Death Proof, then it was Kill Bill 1, then 2, obviously, because you can't really do that. And then before Kill Bill, that was Jackie Brown?
Then you watched, before Kill Bill, then you watched Jackie.
Then I watched Jackie Brown, and then I saw Pulp Fiction, and then I saw Reservoir Dogs. So I did in completely reverse order. And I still have the same opinions as, like, anything else, but I don't know how my opinion of Jackie Brown would have turned out if I saw, like, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction first. So, but I still really love Jackie Brown. I think it's fantastic, and I like Robert Forster.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He makes that movie. Yeah.
Like, it's just something, I like when directors just kind of like, they know they're not going to top the previous movie, So they just kind of like, they do something pretty unique. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know if he was trying to make the next Pulp Fiction. I don't think he was. But I just really like Jackie Brown.
Yeah,
highly recommend.
They did something different.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and why not do something different?
Would you seriously be like happy if you got like a movie just copy and pasted like Pulp Fiction, another movie set in LA, or you know what, whatever, like put it in New York, but it's got the same style as Pulp Fiction? Like, would you really like that?
Maybe, but I mean, more importantly, other people were already doing it because
beat for beat.
I mean, 2 Days in the Valley is very.
Oh
much
no, yeah, I'm not
remake.
talking about those things. I'm talking specifically from Tarantino, because like they copied this structure of Pulp Fiction for like 15 years after that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but I'm just saying, like, I'm glad it did something different than as opposed to like Pulp Fiction 2.
No, I totally get that. I mean, I would still watch whatever, if he did Pulp Fiction 2, I'd still watch it, and it'd probably still be good. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I just like Jackie Brown. Go see that one.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I mean. Like when I could show you a bomb, and like Cleopatra, for example.
Oh yeah, I really like Cleopatra.
Right? I love Cleopatra, and Dave actually has never seen it. And Ben Mankiewicz just did like a 6-part series podcast on the making Cleopatra, and he went through his uncle's notes, and that was a fascinating journey. And so Dave was listening to it too, and I told him, like, I've got that on remastered DVD when they re-released it in 2002. Like, you've got to see it; it's spectacular. We're going to wait until the projector's fixed, and he's going to come over, and it's going to be the 4-hour extravaganza in Todd A.O. in my theater, in the Kino room. It's going to be great. But you carry that non-baggage through every experience that you see of a film from before you were born, effectively.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
And that goes through Redford's films. Like, Sundance was a huge hit, but I didn't tell you, hey, this movie was a huge hit. And actually, comparatively, and you know this, I'm not a huge fan of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I think it's okay. I like the first 45 minutes and the last 45 minutes. The middle is extraordinarily slow. The entire second act is mind-bogglingly slow, and I do not like it at all for that reason. But everyone else just...
No, I love Butch Cassidy. I love it. I'll just throw that on. I mean, I can see how you find the second part boring, but like I don't even think that's like when that's a transition from
the chase to Bolivia
to like Bolivia, right. And they're like, I still find that interesting. I mean, I really like it. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain why I like it. It's kind of hard to put into words. There's just so many moving parts in that movie. Is it just like you're following these guys on an adventure? Is it truly a historical drama, or is it like a Western movie? There's a lot of stuff going on in that one, and I just really love it.
Well, I took from it the same thing that I took from Bonnie and Clyde.
Which one? The one with Warren Beatty?
Yeah, and Faye Dunaway. Is there a second Bonnie and Clyde?
I mean, I assume there would be, but I hate that movie.
Right, but they're both geared to the same way, which is, the revolution is not going to end where we think it is. And, this is a very 60s mentality of, hey, the counterculture is coming up, and we're going to change the world, and we're going to stop the war in Vietnam, and we're going to change the government, we're going to do all these things. And you had people like Arthur Penn and, quite frankly, William Goldman and people like Redford and Newman that were like, this is not going to end well. Like, you all think it's going to be Sunshine and Roses and the Summer of Love and Sgt. Pepper all summer, but it's not. Like, this could go very badly, and it did. That's the thing. Nixon was elected, then he was reelected, then they had Watergate, and Vietnam was just even worse a catastrophe than it was year after year after year. And so what I find fascinating is you're not carrying any of that with you when you watch Butch and Sundance, when you watch Bonnie and Clyde, right? And effectively, those films are about the same thing going in the same direction.
No, I got no idea about that. So I guess, no, I mean, you're right. I just don't see it like that. I mean,
it's just a good Western.
I always just saw it as a good Western. I mean, you never really told me about the history of the movie before we saw it. That was always like after. And so like if you showed me a movie like fucking Big Trouble in Little China, I was just like watching that movie. I didn't know what Kurt Russell did before, what he did after, like what you know what I mean? I just like the movie.
Right.
And
why do you want to go into the 80s politics of the audience being really tired in the 80s of all these big issues for the last 20 years? And then I just want to watch something fun like Big Trouble in Little China. And then just
No, yeah, I mean,
huge hit.
It's like, if I want to know more, I'll learn more about it after, you know. But like, there's some movies that are really important to have context with, like Parallax View.
Right.
Like, because you can't make that movie in the 80s, like, let alone today. Like, if you made Parallax View in the 80s, it was a completely different movie. Because I had this talk with my friend Greg, like, after we watched it. It's like, in the 80s, if you're having a conspiracy movie, you need, like, 3 things, all right? One, it has to be a subsect of whatever, you know, whoever's, like, pulling the strings, right? They can never be directly ordered by whatever part of the government or whatever they're part of. It's like the bad apple thing, right? 2, the main character has to live, and 3, everything has to be exposed. Those are like the 3 kind of rules. If you have, like, conspiracy theory follows that, even though that was like 2000. But like, everything changes in the 80s with that, so you have to follow those 3 rules. But Parallax View doesn't follow any of that.
Oh, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, even 3 Days of the Condor, it doesn't follow that, and that's more lighthearted.
Yeah, who's the bad person in 3 Days of the Condor? Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's what I kind of saw it as, because you can't make Parallax View in the 80s at all, and you can't make that movie today either. It's just, it comes with a lot of cultural stuff with that movie. So sometimes, I mean, a lot of times context is important, but And
3 Days of the Condor, by the way, that's one of Steven Soderbergh's favorite films.
Oh, I'm not shocked.
That in Point Blank with Lee Marvin.
That was... I don't know. I'd have to watch that one again. I wasn't too impressed when I saw that first.
Yeah, and which was the basis for Payback, the Mel Gibson
Yes,
film.
Payback. I saw that one recently, too, and it did not hold up well.
The thing about 3 Days of the Condor, you know, that's the film that, when they were casting for Out of Sight, 3 Days of the Condor was really important stylistically for what Soderbergh wanted to do for Out of Sight.
Yes.
So Clooney was taking advantage of the situation because, of course, biggest TV star in the world. He's going to finally do film. He's going to make this transition. A lot of people say way too late, you know, because I think he was already into his 40s when that started to happen for him. And so he had a trunk of a car, like the back half of a car.
No, yeah, you told me the story.
Up. Yeah, and then he brought it into the studio, and on all the actresses that they were auditioning for the role, they were doing the scene where he and Jennifer Lopez are in the trunk of the car, and they're talking about 3 Days of the Condor. And so all these actresses are like, you want me to get into the trunk with you? So it was kind of like a test. Can you be in the trunk with George Clooney? Which I'm sure that was not a big ask for a lot of these ladies who were coming in auditioning. But apparently Lopez just blew it away because she could concentrate. She could get over the Clooney star power, and she could deliver the lines. She could take Soderbergh's direction to the T, even though she was trapped in a trunk with George Clooney.
I don't know, man. I don't see all that in ER. I don't know. It's not really, you know, I guess I'm not of the generation. I don't see the insane craziness of Clooney. I mean, I understand to an extent, but it's like from ER, like really. But you know, that's another story. We're talking about Robert Redford.
One of my brother's favorite movies, my middle brother John, was Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that one up.
And I love this film. I saw it on cable endlessly. And John loved it, but he thought it was a fantastic Western. But you didn't really care for it.
No. I mean, I'm trying to remember if I saw Jeremiah Johnson first or Dances with Wolves first.
Oh, well, yeah, that if it could be tainted.
But I like Jeremiah Johnson a lot more than Dances with the Wolves. But even then, it's like 90 minutes of him just like building a fucking shack. like that's all. And it's like the natives show up and he's like, burial ground is over there. You don't go over there. And he's like, oh, okay, I got you. And then the evil white people show up and then there's like, we're going to go through the burial ground. It's like, no, you can't do that. That's sacred land. And then that's the plot of the movie. Like, builds a shack and then tells people not to go to the burial ground, which they do anyway, right?
It's also in Young Guns, too.
Yeah, but Young Guns is fucking awesome. The Young Guns is amazing. That's the difference here. I mean, I think his performance in the movie is pretty good. Like, he did a better job than Costner did in Dance with the Wolves. I don't think it's all that in a bag of chips or whatever, as my friend Tyler would say. I don't think it's all that.
That's a shame, even though it's got such a memorable GIF of
Yeah.
Redford smiling with the beard. And also in 1972, the same year, The Candidate came out.
Never seen it.
This was required watching in government class when I was in high school.
Oh, I'm sure they stripped that away.
Yeah, probably. But this was a very non-political political movie. And it was about the son of a former governor, I think, of Utah, where Redford has lived for 50 years. And they wanted to recruit someone to be the current governor. And it was really about state issues. And how do you create a platform? How do you run a candidate? And then how do you successfully promote that candidate against an incumbent governor?
Yeah.
And there are no party politics in the film. The film is completely open. You don't know who is with what platform. It is about, well, this stream needs to be dammed, and let's talk about what the pros and cons of the stream needing to be dammed. And there's no like hidden hookers in the closet. There's no envelope full of photographs of someone in their past. It's all in that manner. It's kind of clean.
That's interesting.
It speaks, I think, to a whole generation of us who sat through and watched Robert Redford, who was a known Hollywood liberal. You do something somewhat nonpartisan about the problems that we have in our political process, because he wasn't pointing his finger at one side or the other. It was everybody. But,
well, it makes me want to watch the movie now. No, I've never seen that one, but I mean, I can get that. I mean, that sort of almost reminds me of like the first season of House of Cards. There isn't really like there isn't too much politics in it. Like the main, like Frank Underwood, he's from South Carolina, but he's a Democrat, and you don't really hear anything about like the position. It's all about the exact opposite. It's about like the money with the envelope with the money in it and shit like that. But I don't know. I guess I got to see that. And if he has a great performance in it, I'll watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the brown bag full of $50,000 that wound up in Homan's pocket a couple of weeks ago, and they just dropped the charges on him.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I'll send you the link.
Oh, okay, fire.
1973, The Way We Were, which is
no, I've never heard of that one.
It's like the marriage story of the 70s.
Oh, okay.
And then The Sting, of course.
Sting.
So you're going to have to explain to me why you like The Sting.
It's almost like a heist-adjacent movie. And my two favorite genres are heist movies and conspiracy movies. And so you get a movie that's like almost about, like kind of about a heist. Then you get Robert Redford and Paul Newman, and the villain is Robert Shaw. Like, come on. And then you have it's almost like a little silly at times. Like Robert Redford's like running around the Warner lot dressed in this like
dapper, very like dapper looking.
This dapper looking, like, I don't know, like this type of like dark-ish red suit. You're just like running around, and then Paul Newman's like this old, like disheveled, like veteran of the grifting game. He's like, I don't want to go and do this. It's like, oh, gin and cards? All right, man, sign me up. You know what I mean? It's almost like a team-up movie to get this done.
George Roy Hill and Paul Newman were really good friends, and they did, I think, 4 or 5 movies together. One of Newman's first movies that he directed himself, Sometimes a Great Notion, he was in a fit of a drinking problem, and he asked George Roy Hill to come and help him finish the movie, and he did. And Henry Fonda, lots of good people in it. The one that comes after that in 1974 is The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, so I have no intention of watching.
And now, do you have no intention of watching that because you've already seen Leo?
I just never understood the whole thing with The Great Gatsby. I think there's a lot better stories out there that were adapted into movies that are even epics. And I just didn't like anything about it. And I don't think I would... I like Leo, and I don't like him in the movie. And if I watched like this other version, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't like that either, even if Robert Redford's in it. I can't... There's only so many times you can listen to Old Sport before you want to, like, shoot yourself. There's a drinking game on Reddit. It's like, take a shot every time, Leo says Old Sport, and I'm pretty sure you'll be tapping the spine, like, after the movie's over.
I found it very...
Oh, so you actually, like, sat through it?
I watched the Redford version when I was a kid.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
like, how recently have you seen?
I think in the last 6 months.
Oh God.
Because when I flew back from Istanbul, I watched the Leo version.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Right.
that's everywhere. That's where I watched that version in the same flight, basically.
Yeah.
It was like on the way back.
And they're very similar. I mean, they're very almost beat for beat.
Well, I mean, it's based on a book. I mean,
Right, which makes sense. I don't see the point of either. That book was written in the 20s. As a study of history in the 20s, it would be interesting to see like how corrupt 20s society was. Past that, I have no interest in the film at all. But going back to George Roy Hill and The Sting, this is what I was going to bring up, and this kind of goes into The Great Gatsby, where George Roy Hill threw tons of money into the production of The Sting, and you brought up Redford's stained red jacket. The outfits in The Sting are supposedly
30s.
I mean, they're supposedly very accurate.
I mean,
for that flashy kind of mob, because
I mean, if that's true, like I always thought it was like a little bit too
emphasized
and colorful. But like, I don't know. Once again, like I haven't seen photos. They could have been colorful. I mean, I don't know. There's like a lot of examples of like the exact opposite, where like color in movies and period pieces is just like the exact opposite. Like what's it called? Like The King with Timothée Chalamet, like his whole suit is just like it's all gray, but like in reality it was very colorful. The Middle Ages were like a colorful place, or more recently with Napoleon, like all the colors just drained out, and behind the set photos it just shows you like a really rich blue and in gold color on his outfit. But I don't know.
more subdued.
Yeah, but it's just like it very well could be that they look like that, and if it's like it doesn't take away from the movie for me either way, if it is or it isn't. I still think it's a really fun movie, and I think the plot is it's rather engaging. It's really, really genius. It's like, how do we get this guy's money? It's like, okay, let's like, how do we do this? Like, he's a gambler. Okay, what do we do? All right, let's make a fake horse racing illegal gambling place. Like, that's like, how do you think of that as like a writer?
Man,
like, I think it's fun. I haven't seen a movie like that.
As a screenwriter, that's pretty solid, I think.
Yeah,
that's
I haven't seen a movie like The Sting. I mean, sure, there are other like movies where it's like about grifting, like Matchstick Men, or like Gone in 60 Seconds, kind of. But there's a lot of charm to The Sting that I love.
3 Days of the Condor.
Yeah, I saw that one like 2 days ago again. 3 Days of the Condor is fantastic. I love it. What's not to like about Robert Redford and Max von Sydow? Maybe I did myself a little disservice because like I don't remember it as fondly as I remember it being. Because like I watched The Parallax View and then I watched 3 Days of the Condor basically back to back for the like just after the podcast, and I still really like it. But it's just like there's little slow parts in the middle that just kind of like get to you a little bit. But I still think it's a great movie. But like it's more subdued in terms of the conspiracy itself. But because like a lot of it's explained.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm just spoiled by Parallax View or not.
Well, and those are three of the best conspiracy movies of the 70s. You think The Parallax View, 3 Days of the Condor, All the President's Men.
Yeah. And
Redford's in two of them.
Yes, yes. All the President's Men is another one on the list.
And I've seen all over social media, at least when I'm on it, and I know that you have an algorithm paying attention to what you're looking at, so they push whatever it is that they want to sell you. But I've seen a lot of people posting that fantastic 5-minute shot of Redford on the phone calling those people trying to get quotes, and it's just incredible.
Oh, All the President's Men is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's literally just talking. And
yes.
I don't know how it is like that, but there's like sometimes like in a movie where a director can just get the dialogue right, and it makes nothing could happen in the movie like outside of the dialogue. Like if the movie is the dialogue and it does it right, it's like the most enrapturing thing ever.
Well, that's how Kevin Smith got his name in print.
No, exactly. Yeah. But like even in Kevin Smith movies, like shit happens. But like in All the President's Men, like, in terms of outside of dialogue, not much happens. Like, everything happens within the dialogue, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, and they're chasing their tails.
They're chasing their tails around. It's like, God, like, what the fuck? Like, we're hitting a wall constantly. Like, what the hell's... We know there's something going on, and this is, like... And Dustin Hoffman's in it, and they're both, like... They're frustrated, like, they can't do anything, and it's just like, God, like, what do we fucking do here? And it's like, this guy's getting away with all this, like, how do we expose this? And it's just, like, going through that motion and trying to figure it out is just, like, the most entertaining thing. So,
well, and the great joke that everybody's been saying for 40 years is Robert Redford really deserved an Oscar for this movie because he plays a Republican.
haha.
Okay, so the next one after that, the very next year, is, even though it's a cameo role, but it's a film full of cameos, and that's A Bridge Too Far.
Yeah, he is not in that a lot.
No, I think it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I do like A Bridge Too Far. It's a great war movie, but it's not my favorite. Like, I prefer, like, Force 10 from Navarone or...
Yeah, which I think is the same year or the year after.
Yeah, I mean, I like that one a lot. I like Von Ryan's Express. I mean, there's other Kelly's Heroes.
You're a huge Von Ryan's
Dude,
Express fan.
Von Ryan's Express is fucking awesome. That movie deserves no shade. Like, come on. Like, Von Ryan... Like, no one's ever heard of that movie. But, like, if you watch it, you're like, that was fun as hell.
So just so our listeners will know, the cast of A Bridge Too Far is so literally insane. It's Sean Connery plays Major General Urquhart, Ryan O'Neal as General Gavin. If for my English audience, the English people, by the way, they know all these people because they're taught in school. Michael Caine as the leader of Third Corps, Lieutenant Colonel Vandeleur. Laurence Olivier plays a doctor. Dirk Bogarde from The Night Porter plays Lieutenant General Browning. Paul Maxwell, enormously popular English actor. Gene Hackman plays Sosabowski, the Polish general. Jeremy Kemp, Donald Pickering, Donald Douglas. Again, Edward Fox, our guy from The Day of the Jackal. Anthony Hopkins. James Caan. Maximilian Schell, Michael Wolff.
So there's like 15 plus people.
Liv Ullmann, who was huge. She was in like 10 Bergman movies. Elliot Gould. Ben Cross, when he was younger. Ben Cross is huge now.
Well, that's a great movie. That's a good one.
The Electric Horseman, the following year, which was him reuniting with Jane Fonda. But the next one, 1980, is another hammer drop for you, and that's Brubaker.
Brubaker?
Yeah. Where he played the prison warden.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. No, that's... I can't believe I don't have that on my list. That's a crazy movie.
Although Wakefield is admittedly an imperfect institution, much like America herself, she is nonetheless a grand experiment.
I'm the man. I am the man. I'm the new warden here. My name's Henry Brubaker.
I figure most of you guys belong here. Basically, you don't have any respect for other people or yourselves.
What do you think of our new warden?
I'm trying to get a fix on what his first order of business here is going to be.
Blow the place up?
He's dangerous.
What the hell's the matter with you?
You mean to tell me you're charging for medical attention?
Get your hands off me!
You start wars and you let other people fight them.
Do not come marching in here from wherever the hell she found you and presume to lecture us about how to treat our fellow man.
Must be over 200 of them out there.
Abraham, are you talking about the bodies that are supposed to be buried here?
Somebody needs to stop them.
How many men are buried out there? You wouldn't even know, would you?
It's crazy. They're digging up bodies.
That's murder they're talking about in there. And if they condone it, how are you going to turn around and tell these guys why they're locked up?
Robert Redford. Brubaker.
Like, no, you gotta take the floor on this one.
Why is it crazy?
It's it's like it doesn't start as a mystery, but it's basically like a mystery about this guy in the South who comes to this prison, and he's finding like it's like the most horrific prison like ever. It's mistreating these people, and it's like incredibly fucking racist. Like it's cruel, sadistic, all the above. Like some shit that like, you know, people in the Middle Ages, like they'd be like, they wouldn't be like, they'd be like, oh, they'd be impressed about this shit. Like it's insane. And you go through the movie about like him trying to like fix all this stuff about the prison, and more horrific things come to light about what the previous warden or administration has been doing in this prison. And it's like shit that you would never even think of. Like, I don't want to spoil it because it's that good of a movie, but that I remember when I first watched it, I was just utterly shocked. Like, utterly shocked. I was like, how do they put this in a fucking movie? And then Robert Redford is just like, they threw him the ball and he knocked it out of the park with that one. Like, it's one of his best movies, I think.
No, I totally agree. I don't remember a film before that one that has the slow clap. I think that was the inventor of the slow clap, which is kind of a joke now, but at the time,
not Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane has a slow clap in it, but that's more forced. The slow clap in Brubaker is genuine.
Oh, okay.
Ehi, Brubaker. Bisogna che le dica una cosa. Non approvo che in un carcere ognuno si metta a seconda dei propri gusti o peggio delle proprie possibilità. Nessun detenuto aveva ragione. È diverso dall'altro. Gli affidabili sono i soli detenuti qui che si sono guadagnati il diritto di apparire diversi. È in questo che scoprirete la mia formula, la formula di Rory Bock. I privilegi si guadagnano. Non ci saranno più direttori che fanno favoritismi a Wakefield. Non ci saranno più consigli di detenuti. Dovrete guadagnarveli i privilegi d'ora in avanti. Guadagnarveli con onesto sudore. Io sono sicuro che se ognuno di voi si comporterà come si conviene, questo istituto tornerà a quello che era una volta. Quel detenuto là in fondo, laggiù, torni in riga! Torni in riga! Voi uomini, voi tornate in riga! Tornate subito in riga! O assaggerete la frusta! Ma che diavolo succede?
You never saw The Natural.
No.
Excellent film. He plays a guy in his 40s and wants to get into baseball with a dark past.
Oh, okay.
Which you find out is not so dark. But, you know, it was the...
I think that movie takes place in the 50s. He got an Oscar for Out of Africa in 1985.
Never seen it.
And Ordinary People, he got the Best Director Oscar in 1980. I think that was the controversial one because that was over Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was not even nominated.
No. I don't care. I don't care at all.
You don't care
Best
about...
Director, Best Screenplay, Best Original Score, Best Picture, Best Actor. Don't care. Should have swept. And Chariots of Fire gets Best Score or something.
Over John Williams.
Who has seen Chariots of Fire? Who knows what that movie is? Like today. You know, everyone knows Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows. How many times have you seen Chariots of Fire?
Well, I'm not one to go by, but I think I've seen it 5-6 times.
5-6 times. Okay. How many? Yeah. So that's pretty high for Chariots of Fire. That's a lot.
Yeah. And most of that was in the 80s. I would say,
of course,
probably about 4 or 5 times before 1990. I know that I've seen it once before the year 2000.
So, how many times have you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I could not tell you. It would have to be
exactly
over 100.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's a ridiculous amount of times.
Yes, but I know that I've seen Star Wars minimum 150 to 200 times. I know that I've seen Empire over.
Also got bored in the 80s, huh?
Well, the licensing deal that they had with HBO after Jedi came out was that they had. HBO had the license to play The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi endlessly. I mean, I think it went until 1989, and so it was on HBO at least once or twice every 2 weeks for that entire 7-year run. And I had Star Wars on tape. So, and you've seen my copy of Star Wars. It is worn the hell out.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
That original one is awesome. And not just that, but I bought all 3 on new tapes in the 90s. I bought them used at a VHS store. And then when Dave got me into Laserdisc, I remember going over to Dave's house or his parents' house around about 1997, and he had a Laserdisc set of all 3 films. And he said, I just bought new ones. Do you want these? And so I said, sure. And I didn't even have a Laserdisc player. I think I didn't get one until 1999. But the minute I got one and spun it, I was like, oh, my God, you couldn't get Star Wars on digital, So I watched those Laserdiscs probably 10 times, all of them. And then, of course, Raiders. Like I had Raiders on Laserdisc. You watched that in Canada.
No, Raiders is a masterpiece.
And nothing against Robert Redford, but he doesn't hold a candle to Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford should have won, and I don't care. I don't care at all. Should have swept the Oscars. And,
And we're not just talking about that year, but we're talking about the decade. We're talking about probably top 5 best films from 1950 to 2000.
I'm not talking decade. I'm talking like top 10 films of the century. Like, I don't care. Like, you can talk to the wall on this. Like, Indiana Jones is like the best shit I've ever seen. Like,
especially those first 2.
No. So the first 3.
The first
3. No, like you're smoked. I don't know how many times I've seen Raiders, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade. Like I'll watch all of them. They're all 10s. Like it does not matter to me. Argue with the wall. They should Best Picture 81, Best Picture 84, Best Picture 89, Best Supporting Actor for specifically Sean Connery. Don't care. And no, that's just absolute cinema.
He had a way. I'm not sure how Redford was able to pull this off. But as America after 1980 started becoming more and more conservative, Redford had a way of turning the politics into a film for a populace to showcase, I don't want to say a liberal ideal, but sort of celebrate these things, the liberal side of America, liberal with a small L. When I look at Out of Africa, Legal Eagles, in which he played a lawyer.
I like Legal Eagles.
Oh, you saw that?
That's on my list actually. I really like Legal Eagles.
Yeah, with Debra Winger.
Yes, I think it's a really good movie.
Ben Mankiewicz just did an interview with Debra Winger. Actually, when I was in the hospital, and they spent all day with her watching movies that she picked out. So he had interviews with her, and Legal Eagles was not on that list, and I was wondering, why is that not on there? So you did like
Yeah, I really like that one. I think that's a lot of fun.
And then Havana, which I have, but I have not seen. And that's in, what the Americans were doing in Cuba before the revolution.
Yeah.
And then one that you didn't particularly care for, which I loved when I was a kid, which was Sneakers.
No, so I didn't think it was all that, but then I watched it again, and I was like, no, I think it's a pretty good movie. It's a stacked cast.
Who's in the cast?
And it's Robert Redford. The three I remember is like Robert Redford, Ben Kingsley, and
Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier, thank you.
And then River Phoenix.
And I thought it was really good the second time.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
David
really liked it.
Strathairn.
You don't really you don't get to see a movie about people who are like pen testing or whatever, and it's like I just really liked it. And you can go really wrong with like the 90s like type of like hacker like internet stuff.
It's kind of a heist movie.
Yeah, it's kind of a heist movie, but like you can go wrong with like the specific aesthetic of the 90s hacker stuff, like The Net or like Terminator 3. You know what I mean? But like in Sneakers, I thought they did it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And they have a scene in the 2nd Street Tunnel, which you and I went to. When we were...
But no, I think it's pretty enjoyable. But I did not like it the first time, so I don't know what it says.
Hashtag Too Many Secrets. Look that up and see what pops up. I responded to something on somebody posted something about Sneakers, and I replied.
Hi, my name is Werner Brandis. My voice is my passport. Verified.
Instantly, if you're a Redford fan, then you know that line from Sneakers.
Sneakers is definitely worth seeing,
and it's very rare in his au revoir because it's almost a comedy. Like it's got tons of jokes.
I mean, it approaches that. Yeah. I mean, it is a funny movie.
So I don't think that you've seen A River Runs Through It.
No,
which hit like a hammer when it came out because it had Brad Pitt. It also had Aidan Quinn, who you just saw in Stakeout. He was the boyfriend who broke out of prison. And River Runs Through It was pretty, that is sort of liberal with a small L Americana, the rural America that we all remember from the 30s. And I mean colloquially, not like us literally, because we weren't alive then. But the nation remembers what it was like to grow up in the 30s and 40s. And that and Legends of the Fall, that just made Brad Pitt's career, basically. Have you seen Legends of the Fall?
No.
Okay.
No.
Indecent Proposal, which is an indecent movie. And I remember my best friend Trevor went to go see it, and he told me about it the next day and talked about just how morally messed up that film was. Just completely crazy. Woody Harrelson, Demi Moore, and Redford plays, some sort of Trump guy coming in saying, I'll pay you $1 million to, and that was a huge conversation in cinema at the time. And it was the exemplification of there's no such thing as bad controversy. Whatever controversy you have for a film, it just helps the film. That worked great until Gigli. And then when the whole Bennifer thing.
Oh my God!
That came out with Gigli. It killed that movie. It killed Kevin Smith's movie. It killed everything.
Killed anything it touched.
Killed Jennifer Lopez's career. There was like a 5-year, which I feel like is completely unfair. Just to be, and if you watch Gigli, not a good movie. No reason to overreact like that. But regardless, Indecent Proposal did great things for those three people's career. All three of them just went high. Like there's nothing that would have stopped Robert Redford. Period. Right?
Oh yeah.
But Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore got a lot of mileage off of that, and good for them. Woody Harrelson, I should mention, is from the great state of Texas. Up close and personal, I was just confused by this film. This is a film about the life of Jessica Savage, who was a
She was a TV anchor, I believe, for CBS. And she had a rather roller coaster personal life and career. And Redford directed this, and then he played her mentor, who just saw her spin out of control, and he was sort of helpless to help her get out of the whirlpool. And it was just confusing to watch. I didn't understand why they were telling the story. I had really had no investment in the character, and I didn't particularly care to watch a Redford movie that he's only in for about 30, 40 minutes. So
no, that makes sense.
But the next one, the big one that hit like a bomb for me, the one that people came and told me, hey, you need to go see this film, this is amazing, is Spy Game.
Spy Game is awesome.
Tony Scott.
Spy Game is probably this like on par with in terms of how many times I've seen like each movie. I've probably seen Spy Games just as many times as I've seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Oh
Kid.
wow.
Like I loved Spy Games. And talk about like a movie. Like how do you have Brad Pitt in a movie where he's not like the main guy? And then you realize it's like, oh, it's Robert Redford. Now that makes sense. You know, put him in the sideline. This is his movie.
Yeah.
And I love everything about that movie. It's just I don't know. Like, what do you have to say? Like, what does Spy Game do like amazing that makes you just want to like love it or want to watch it again?
Well, it all starts with every film. I think it all starts with the script.
Yeah.
And that script and how his character, Muir, if I remember correctly, and how he just manipulates everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And he could, given the chance, manipulate it for a disadvantage to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But he chooses not to.
And it's always subtle.
It's very.
It's like he's in these rooms with these people, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we should do this," and it seems like a great idea when in reality he's trying to just get his. I'm not going to say anything, but like get what he needs to get done.
Yeah.
And it's like every other scene is just like, "Oh fuck, how is he going to get out of this? This is insane." And he just like pulls something out of his ass. He's like, "Oh my god, that's genius!" Like the script is really good.
Operation Dinner Out is a go. Yeah. So what I really liked about it, and I think this was kind of lost on people at that time. You know, Redford has a tremendous sense of history, and if you look at his films, Havana, Out of Africa, A Bridge Too Far, All the President's Men, which was recent history, right? But even A River Runs Through It, he really has a sense of Americana. He has a great sense of history. And in Spy Game, it starts off at the end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
So it's about 1973, 1974. And when does he insert Tom into playing his little spy game? In Berlin in 1975.
Yeah.
As a non-German speaking envoy. And then what does he get him involved in almost immediately? You know, a Middle Eastern situation that just spirals out of control. And it was just a great history of the Cold War. And of course, anybody who's read a book about the history of the CIA is complete clusterfuck. That organization couldn't find its head out of its unless I'm greatly misled. And of course, you can't find out about the great successes like Argo until 40 years after they're done. But it did have just a list of catastrophes. But what I liked about it was Muir put his friendship first.
Yeah.
He put his friendship first, and we can criticize that as much as we can. How many films do you have where I'm going to put my nation first? I'm going to put my nation above my friendship. And he did the reverse. Or you could argue he put the values of his country first by saving his friend.
Yeah, you could definitely argue that in this movie.
Really good spy movie.
It's just a really good spy movie. And that's coming out in the time, like it's like about 15 years there from like 2005 to like 1990, maybe like a little bit before then. Which is like you start getting all these like insane spy movies about the Cold War, and I think this is one of them. I really like this one.
The one that comes out in 95, so it's a little bit before Spy Game, that people kind of probably don't remember now, is Quiz Show. Quiz Show is a real story about Charles Van Doren, who's a very, very, you could say, well-bred intellectual. I believe he taught at Columbia University. In the 1950s, they had their first game shows on TV, and he went on to the quiz show, which is called 21, where you answer 21 questions and you get a huge payout. Anybody could go on 21. It was kind of like Jeopardy. You just answer these questions, and if you get the answer, then it's on a pyramid, and whoever wins out, they go onto the quiz show, and you get a chance to win cash. Well, this was rigged. And Charles Van Doren was slipped the answers. And at first he denied it when it leaked. The guy that he beat got pissed off because he thought, well, I lost because I'm a Jew, and they just didn't want a Jew to win, basically. And he felt personally offended that his intellectualism was being dinged by, this, wealthy to-do from a great background, white America dude. And so he leaked it, and then it got into Congress, and Congress was kind of pissed off, like, well, TV is not supposed to present falsehoods. Just think about that for a second. That was Congress saying TV should be honest.
Yeah.
And so they had these huge hearings in which Charles Van Doren had to show up, and he did, to his credit, he admitted it and apologized, and he moved on with his life. But Redford went over this. I was not impressed with this. I saw this in the theater. I didn't particularly like the film. John Turturro plays the guy that he beat.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and Charles Van Doren is played by Ray Fiennes, who's on his post-Schindler run.
Yeah.
So Fiennes is like, everybody in Hollywood is calling Fiennes, right? Like, holy shit, I got Eamon Gautier on my film. The Redford's not in this film. The reason I look on this film more favorably now is probably about 15 years later. I'm a fan of Hannah Arendt. Hannah Arendt wrote 2 essays that the Hannah Arendt Center from the New School put together into one book called On Lying.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, she has an essay on the quiz show controversy that she wrote before she died in 1974, if I remember correctly. And she talks about how politicians lie, and then the television lies, and where all these lies lead to you. And she says in the book, if we allow this as a society, if we permit this, then there's going to come to be a time in the future, and it's probably not too far off, when telling the truth no longer matters, because everyone effectively is lying. Everyone finds lying permissible because of stuff like this. It was a very profound, and after reading that essay, then I was kind of seeing what Redford was getting at.
Yeah.
And for all I know, Redford probably read that essay before he took on this project. But it's a very interesting film about what we will permit in our entertainment. We will permit lies in our entertainment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Which goes right into the catastrophe that is 2007 Lions for Lambs. Have you ever heard of this film?
No.
This is... I've spoken to you about this period before, in between, I want to say, 2003 and 2008, when the political left in this country just lost their goddamn mind. And they could not believe that George Bush had been reelected. They could not believe that he had taken us to this war in Iraq over a lie. They could not believe that he had won so hard against John Kerry. They just could not. They lost their goddamn mind. And one of the results of that was Lions for Lambs, which unfortunately Redford produced and helped finance and is in. And it is effectively 80% dialogue. And he plays like a college professor who's trying to convince young people, hey, maybe not join the Army. Like, this is a bad time for you to get in the Army, which I completely disagree with. And then the opposite of him, because it is a dichotomy set up specifically to have this sort of political argument, is Tom Cruise, who plays your red tie wearing, blue suit wearing, cropped cut Republican who is screaming at people about what they believe in. And if you don't believe in your country, then, get out of here and move out, blah, blah, blah. Like, he is completely towing the right line. And the only thing more foolish than ignoring what's going on, I think, is creating something that's going to be more divisive. And I think we see that today. There are people just doing things that are divisive that we don't really need right now. And the minute something divisive happens, you can feed into it or you can try to repair it. And people are deliberately making it worse. And that's what I saw this specific film as. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on HBO. And I was greatly disappointed. And I think that his next few films, basically the 4 major ones that he did before he passed away, are the ones he will probably be remembered for longest. And the first one is All Is Lost, where it's basically him on a boat in the ocean.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
And I
heard it was fantastic.
I heard it was fantastic, and I kicked myself because I meant to see that and The Old Man and the Gun, which was his last starring role. I meant to see that before, and then last week before we recorded this, and I didn't. So I still have to see that. But he also did Pete's Dragon, which
yes, I saw that in the theater.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
I liked that.
I didn't like it.
I thought it was,
but that was 10 years ago. So.
Right. It was a lot of nostalgia.
I remember I didn't like it, but I remembered oh, who's that guy?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Probably the first time you saw Redford.
Yeah,
on screen.
that was probably the first time I saw Redford. And I remember thinking was like, wow, who the hell is that guy? He's like pretty good. I didn't like the movie though. But
when I skipped over the Horse Whisperer, which he did with Scarlett Johansson when she was like 12. So that was also, I don't help people with horse problems. I help people with people problems, stuff like that. And then, of course, the big one that everyone probably remembers him as, he was in The Winter Soldier.
Yes, everyone remembers him as the president, or
he was the Secretary of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. This is just going back to the Marvel conversation, but Marvel is almost like a safe haven for just like free money. Like if you've like established your career and you're like, yeah, I kind of want to wind things down. I want to retire soon. But just get some easy money. And that's what like Marvel's known for like these like really powerhouse actors who are like they're not bad in these roles. It's just like they're obviously like doing it for the money, which is I got no problem with that. He still did a great job in the movie. You know what I mean? But like they get all these old people like
William Hurt is in one of them.
William Hurt is?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking
he plays
about
the colonel. He's got the mustache. But Sam Elliott was in the Hulk.
Yeah, Sam Elliott was in the Hulk. There's another one, Michael Douglas. There's like
an Ant-Man.
Yeah, an Ant-Man. There's like you get these people who have like their very established careers for the past like 30, 40, 50 years, and it's just this is just something to like have to do really quick, not that difficult. Get your money and then you can go retire. And that's like I actually kind of like that because like there should be roles for like these older guys that aren't just what's it called? Super serious period pieces when they're 85. You know what I mean?
Something easy for them to do.
Something easy to do. Get some money and then retire. I got no problem with that at all. And he did a fantastic job, and I liked it.
One of my favorite scenes, not just in that movie, but the entire franchise, considering that he did films like 3 Days of the Condor, All the President's Men.
Yeah, you think about his resume when he's in Winter Soldier. He's like, this is a conspiracy.
When there's that shot of him getting out of the limo, walking across the street, going into that bank, and he goes into the bank, and all of the safe deposit boxes are open, like the bank has been robbed. The vault door is open. He walks through the vault door, and the Winter Soldier is strapped to a chair.
Yeah.
And they're having a conversation about.
Mission report. Mission report now.
There's a man on the bridge. Who was he?
You met him earlier this week on another assignment.
I knew him.
Your work has been a gift to mankind. You shaped the century, and I need you to do it one more time. Society is at a tipping point between order and chaos. Tomorrow morning, we're going to give it a push. But if you don't do your part, I can't do mine. And Hydra can't give the world the freedom it deserves.
But I knew him.
Prep him.
He's been out of cryo freeze too long.
Then wipe him and start over.
And the politics of that moment, considering Redford's cinematic history, is really mind-boggling.
It's like echoes, you know what I mean? Just little not foreshadowing, just like callbacks to his like early career, Like now he played the guy, he played the young dude in 3 Days of the Condor. Now he's playing Max von Sydow.
Right.
Or like now he's playing, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty cool if you look at it through that angle.
Okay, he's been nominated 65 times in his career.
65 times.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there with the most nominated people ever.
He's got 46 wins.
46?
Yes. No, this is not just the Academy
No,
Awards.
this is not.
This is
No, I know. Like
Golden
Golden Globes. This is
Emmys.
This is everything.
Yeah.
But that's insane.
So the quiz show, Best Picture nominated, Best Director nominated, Ordinary People, Best Director winner, The Sting, Best Actor nominated, and in 2002 he got a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh yeah, well deserved.
Guess who gave it to him?
Eastwood?
Paul Newman.
That's poetic as fuck.
Isn't it? Isn't that great? So he got a BAFTA for quiz show.
Oh, a BAFTA for it, huh?
Best film nominated for quiz show. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, he was nominated for Best Actor for BAFTA. For the DGA, he was nominated for quiz show. He won for Ordinary People. On his Golden Globes, he had 9 nominations, 6 wins. He got Best Director for A River Runs Through It. He got Best Director for a quiz show. And then he got the Cecil B. DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So in the Academy Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, if I remember correctly, is called the Irving Thalberg Award. So Irving Thalberg was that guy at MGM who worked for Louis Mayer, who ran MGM's production schedule for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you watch the film Mank.
No, yeah, I remember that.
He's
the guy right behind him.
He's who Mank works for. Yeah. He also got a Razzie for Indecent Proposal.
Oh, I mean, come on. Every great actor's got a Razzie here and there. Come on.
All right, so you want to do a top 5?
Top 5 Redford movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. All right, you want to go first or me?
Yeah, my number 5.
Yeah, number 5.
My number 5 is Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, okay.
What's yours? What's your number 5?
Ooh. My number 5 would be... All the President's Men.
Oh, good choice. All right, my number 4 is Sneakers.
My number 4 would be 3 Days of the Condor.
All right, my number 3 is Spy Game.
My number 3 is also Spy Games.
Okay. My number 2 is Jeremiah Johnson.
It's The Sting.
Well, I'm surprised it wasn't 1. Okay. My number 1 is Brubaker.
Butch Cassidy.
Oh.
All right. Now, I'm going to swap out All the President's Men and put Brubaker in there in my top 5.
Okay.
I just completely forgot the name of that one, and I didn't write it down. But no, I'm swapping out All the President's Men, and I'm going to put Brubaker in there.
Well, and I should put in President's Men over Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, I would. These are like my favorites, even though he is really good in that movie. Like Winter Soldier is one of the like really better like Marvel movies, even for the phase you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not just all time, but I'm talking about like even in its prime, Winter Soldier was like fantastic. So
excellent, excellent.
Brubaker, what a fucking crazy movie.
Slow clap, guys. I'm going to probably put the slow clap on here.
Oh yeah, okay, sure.
On the tail end, I'll probably put the 5-minute conversation about how did $50,000 from the committee to re-elect the president find its way into the bank account of John Magruder, one of the Watergate burglars?
Oh yeah,
how did that happen? Thanks very much.
Of course.
Thanks for hanging out with Luke and I while we talked about Robert Redford. You can find the Super 70 podcast wherever you find podcasts. You can find me, my book, and my blog at www.thatdylandavis.com and at @thatdylandavis on Threads, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky. You can find Rosalind McPhail on SoundCloud and Facebook.
was not a fact. But the public debate over Senator Eagleton's past medical history continues to divert attention from the great national issues that need to be discussed. I have referred to the growing pressures to ask for Senator Eagleton's withdrawal. We have also
Hello?
growing vocal support.
Could I please, Mr. Dahlberg?
Yes?
Kenneth Dahlberg?
Yes?
This is Bob Woodward of the Washington Post.
Yes?
About that $25,000 check deposited in the bank account of one of the Watergate burglars, Mr. Bernard Barker. As you know, sir, the check has your name on it. We were doing a story on this, and I was wondering if you would care to comment or explain.
I turn all my money over to the committee.
What committee is that, sir? The committee to re-elect?
Yes, yes.
Why would you do that?
I raise a lot of money. I'm Midwest Finance Chairman.
For the committee to re-elect? Hello?
Yes, that's right.
Now, how do you think your check got into the bank account of the Watergate burglar?
I'm a proper citizen. What I do is proper.
Oh, I understand.
I've just been through a terrible ordeal. My neighbor's wife has been kidnapped.
Oh, well, how do you think your check got into Barker's account, though, sir?
He can't go anywhere first. He can make it now. He ran with that.
Committee to re-elect the president.
Could I please speak to Mr. Clark McGregor?
One moment, I'll
Thank
connect
you. Thank you.
Yes?
Mr. McGregor.
Yes.
This is Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Hello.
Yes?
This is Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Mm-hmm. I just spoke to a Mr. Kenneth Dahlberg, who says that he is Midwest Finance Chair.
Yeah, I know Ken Dahlberg.
Well, I can't seem to get an explanation on why a check for $25,000 made out to Mr. Dahlberg that he apparently sent to the committee to re-elect the president would end up in the bank account of a Watergate burglar.
I don't know.
But you're head of the committee, sir.
Look, I just came aboard. John Mitchell was the head of the committee. He might know.
Well, what would the explanation possibly
I
be
don't
for...
know. You're implying that I should know. And if you print that, our relationship will be terminated.
Sir, we don't have a relationship.
The issues of the campaign are peace and prosperity, not a campaign check.
Bob.
Sir, no one is saying anything...
Mr. Dahlberg is online, too.
For the re-election of the president, we've raised $60 million, and you're asking about a $25,000 check.
Mr. McGregor, excuse me. Could you hold 1 second, please, sir?
All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello?
Mr. Dahlberg.
Yes?
Could you please hold 1 second, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. McGregor.
Yeah.
Could I call you right back, sir? I'm
Yeah,
very sorry.
okay.
Thank you. Mr. Dahlberg.
Yes, I'm sorry I hung up before. I wasn't sure you were a Washington Post reporter.
I believe we were talking about a $25,000 check.
Obviously, this is difficult for me. I'm caught in the middle of something, and I don't know what.
What do you think it could be?
Well, I deal with a lot of important people.
People who work for the committee? Hello?
For the committee.
The committee to re-elect the president.
Yes. You see, I raised that money in cash, and I have a winter home in Florida.
Is that Miami?
Boca Raton. And I didn't want to carry all that cash around. Now, you can understand that.
Oh, of course I can.
So I had it exchanged for the cashier's check.
And how do you think it got into Barker's account?
I know I shouldn't be telling you this. I gave it to Mr. Stans.
I beg your pardon?
I gave it to Stans.
Maurice Stans? The head of finance for Nixon?
Yes, in Washington. Now, what he did with it, I really do not know.
I see. Were there any other checks, sir, that you might be aware of that could have come...
That's all I had to say.
Mr. McGregor. Mr. Dahlberg. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Carl Bernstein on line
1? Yep. Bernstein.
I think I got a lead on Dahlberg.
I got it.
What?
I just talked to him. I just hung up from him. Bernstein, listen, it goes all the way to Stans.
What are you talking about?
It goes all the way to Stans. He gave the check to Stans for the committee to re-elect.
Did he say that?
He said it. I've got it on my notes.
Jesus.
It's down on record, Bernstein.
That money winds up in the bank account of a Watergate burglar?
Yes.